performing. It's been a hobby ever since I was about 5 or 6 years old. I wasted the first 5 years of my life, but after that it's been a hobby all my life. Besides the profession, I made money out of it. I never wanted to be a professional musician. I liked it as a hobby. I liked it better as a hobby. Because when you're professional, it becomes real work and toil. You can't enjoy it as much as a professional.
Then why did you become a professional?
Everybody has a weakness, I suppose. There's nothing better to do.
Was there a time in recent years where magic became less popular?
Oh, yes. I just told a little story the other day. You know, everybody's producing doves now. Doves. Fire and doves. And a magician went to the agent and he said, I want you to book me. He went to the agent. The agent said, I don't want to book any magicians. All they do is those doves all the time. So he said, no, but I have a different kind of an act. He said, I sit on a kitchen chair in the middle of the stage. I wave my arms like this, and I take off and I fly all around the room, around the balcony, and back onto the chair. The agent said, another damn bird act. I don't want it. That's the way agents are, though. Another bird act.
What do you think of what they call the new vaudeville magic, where it's pantomime, where it's song, and juggling?
It's not magic, it's rock and roll magic, I call it. I mean, dancing and like that has nothing to do with a girl high kicking and, and doing pratfalls. That has nothing to do with magic. I mean, it's the way of the world now. I play piano, I like music, but I don't care for rock and roll. I mean, as long as they don't dance and squirm and flop over, that has nothing to do with music. What the hell has that got to do with music? I mean, people love it, so the youngsters love it.
What about juggling, pantomime? Should that be part
Well, juggling is a different. I thought at the convention some of the best juggling I've ever seen in my life. Beautifully done. Especially one little girl there. She was just as good as the men. As a rule, girls don't excel in things like juggling. I've only known one girl in my life that ever played a good game of chess. A girl named Mary Ann Hooper, who had the Today Show in Hollywood. She went to Russia and beat a lot of the Russian chess players. Very seldom girls play chess.
How do you think women are at magic? There haven't been many women.
Well, there's some good ones. Yeah, there's some. They're getting more prevalent as time goes on. I think they're going to take over in a few years. They'll say, hey, look, we got a man magician this week.
What for you was the main pleasure of being a musician? What did you enjoy?
Well, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a hobby, and the main thing is you make friends. And there's so many people. Look at this whole crowd here, so 600 or 700 people. They're all friendly people. I mean, you won't find that among other professions. I mean, photographers or architects, lawyers. They're not all friendly. Magicians are all friendly people. And no matter where you go, if you go to a strange town, say you go to Copenhagen or Switzerland, and you have a little rabbit on your lapel, and you go in and you find out where the magic comes, they take you in with open arms and welcome you. They don't do that in any other business, I know. As long as you're one of the herd, one of the gang.
When you were performing, did you ever get nervous? Did you ever worry that a trick wouldn't work?
No, I'm too dumb to know that. No, everybody, yeah, when I went into the music hall in New York, right here, a very big stage, the doctor, I had a good friend who was a doctor, and he said, I'll give you a pill that alleviates nervousness. But anyway, a very clever lawyer I knew, he said, it's a good sign to be nervous. Sarah Bernhardt, who was one of the great actresses, she used to throw a deck of cards all over the floor, and then pick them up and everything to get rid of her nerve before she went on. She was a great actress. Jack Dempsey. You know Jack Dempsey, when he was a prize fighter, he used to go around biting his nails before a fight. He was nervous as hell. But when he got into the ring, he was a tiger. So it's a good quality to be nervous. People that aren't nervous, they're dumb in the room. No, really. I mean, people that are absolutely oblivious to feelings, they're dumb people. They're not smart. Everybody should be nervous. A good performer was always nervous. If he's not nervous, he's not a good performer. It's only the ignoramuses who are not nervous.
Did you ever have anything happen to you on stage that was embarrassing?
Oh, I've had lots of funny things happen. Lots of funny things. I can't enumerate them all. I mean, there are many funny things. One of the funny things, I was one of the first ones to ever use doves. I mean, I never did production of doves, but I used to take off, I had white gloves on. I took the gloves off and threw them in the air, and a dove came back and flew on my shoulders. One night in the Rainbow Room here, when the Rainbow Room was very popular, I took my gloves off and threw them in the air, and the dove went like a stone, absolutely dead, and landed in a woman's lap, up in the Rainbow Room. And all of a sudden, everybody was going, and then they started to laugh. And that poor little dove laid an egg in the lady's lap. She had a black shirt on, laid a real little egg in her lap. She was just ready to lay the egg, but I threw her out, you know. And she laid the egg in the lady's lap. Leonard Lyons, the columnist, wrote it up in a column, you know. He wrote it up and said, what a funny coincidence. And, you know, had a burst during your act.
Do you think that today's magicians, by and large, are as good as the old-time musicians?
No, well, you see, they have more methods today of performing magic. A method, different ways of doing things. I mean, different techniques. But in the old days, they really had better effects than they have today. Now, I don't know whether you saw this fellow that produced the duck, and he took the head off and threw it on the floor, and put it back on while in the show, right? In the ballroom. He produced a duck, and he took its head off, and he threw it on the floor, and put it on again. Well, years ago, they used to have a hen and a duck, and they'd take the head off the chicken and take the head off the duck, and then they'd restore them, but the duck would have the hen's head, and vice versa. They'd run around the stage with odd heads, and they'd bring them back again. They used to do very good things like that years ago. Today they don't have as good, but their methods are better. Siegfried and Roy, for instance, I mean, are marvelous. They have methods. Nobody in history has ever taken a compete with Siegfried and Roy in Hollywood.
But with all the new stuff, are there old traditions of magic that still go on?
Is there what?
Are there old traditions that still go on?
Oh, yes. You know, a fellow named Roy Benson wanted to write a book on magic and call it the world's second oldest profession. But the Scribner, well, I mean, they wouldn't publish it under that title. But it's true, it goes way back. Magic in the old days, they used to use it for power. You know, the priest would get followers by performing tricks. But they really just, people thought they were superhuman. Magic is always had, you see, of course, nowadays, with all the videotapes and books and pamphlets and lessons, they have hundreds and hundreds of magicians all over the country. But in the old days, magicians were very scarce. Perhaps there would only be one or two in a town. Now they have 500 in a town. Used to have one or two magicians. They were unique. People would say, you know, they had more fascination. Today it's commonplace. There's no distinction to be a magician today. Unless you're a good one.
Why has it become so popular, do you think?
Well, on account of television and some good performers, that's all. Television is a great thing to do. Television. Yeah, that has a great thing to do with the revival of magic. You know, when I was, well, about 25, 30 years ago, or perhaps 35, 40 years ago, you could hardly get booked in a show as a magician. They'd put you with the dog acts and the animal acts. They'd put you on so the people would walk. They'd put you on towards the end of the bill so people could walk out and not have to watch the match. It was a very low form of entertainment in those days. Except for a few people like Houdini and Max Morini and a few people who were very outstanding.
But now do they get more respect?
But you know, it's a funny thing. You know, there was a fellow named Max Holden had a magic shop here in New York here. And there's a term called the diagonal palm shift. Now, it's in a book called the diagonal palm shift. And on Saturdays, we had a gag when there'd be 20, 30 fellows in. Some stranger would walk in and say, I'm from Texas, or I'm from Oklahoma, and everybody, Max Holden would say, do you do the diagonal palm shift? Now, this fellow didn't even know what that meant, and he'd say, what? And he'd say, what do you mean? And everybody in the chorus would say, what? You don't do the diagonal palm shift? And the guy'd be, you know, ridiculous. But it's true. You can take everybody in this whole room here. I'll bet there are not 3 people can do the diagonal palm shift well. I mean, out of several hundred. That's just a technical move. And I bet there are not 3 people in the whole room here who can palm a card like a real expert. Now, this man here, Richard Turner, he does things that nobody else in the world can do with cards. Nobody. I don't care if you go to China or France or Germany, he does things that nobody else can do. He does them beautifully. But as I say, that's very rare to have experts like that. There's other fellows.